this kind of exchange to happen.
In a sport full of hype, noise, and overnight stars, every now and then someone comes along who doesn't fit the mold. Someone who doesn't yell, doesn't chase attention, doesn't live on social media, but still makes the entire fight world stop and take notice. Someone like Aleksandre Topuria, fighter who rose quietly, fought violently, is now being whispered about as the next UFC champion. But who is he really? Where did he come from? What makes him such a terrifying problem for the entire division? Today, we're breaking down the story, the skill set, the championship potential of a man whose rise feels almost inevitable. This is Knockout Truth, and this is the evolution of Aleksandre Topuria. Life and rise to UFC.
Everyone knows Ilia Topuria, the UFC featherweight champion, is making waves, taking names, and looking like he's ready to take the crown in the division up north.
To understand how Aleksandre Topuria fights, you first have to understand what forged him, because this story doesn't start under bright lights or inside packed arenas. It starts in the shadows, in struggle, and scarcity, in a world where nothing came easy. Aleksandre grew up without the advantages fighters depend on. No polished gyms, no elite coaches, no shortcuts. What he had was grit, family, and a fire that whispered one truth. If he wanted a future, he'd have to fight his way into it. Fighting wasn't a pastime, it was who he was. While other kids played for fun, Aleksandre trained to build a world bigger than the one he was born into.
Debut. It all started in Halle, Germany, where Aleksandre Topuria was born on January 28, 1996, to Georgian parents who were refugees from the Russia-occupied region of Abkhazia.
Right beside him was Ilia Topuria, not the UFC champion, not El Matador, but the older brother, the benchmark, the example, the living reminder of what real discipline looked like. Where most kids tape posters of fighters on their walls, Aleksandre had the real thing in his home.
UFC world champion. Maybe he's even better than me.
Wow, that's a scary sight.
A brother who trained like a professional long before he became one. A brother whose work ethic transformed their living room into a proving ground. A brother who taught him, silently but relentlessly, that greatness isn't given. It's carved out through suffering, consistency, and days no one ever sees.
When he returned, he did so with even more style points than Ilia. Seconds into his battle with Andre Chikane.
Most fighters talk about sacrifice. Aleksandre lived sacrifice. He juggled life, work, responsibility, and training before he was ever old enough to understand how heavy the load truly was. There were nights where exhaustion felt like an opponent, days where walking away would have made sense. But fighters molded by adversity don't break, they sharpen. And every session beside Ilia, every drill, every brutal sparring round wasn't just practice, it was pressure. The kind that doesn't crack you, the kind that reforges you.
Jackson and Ryan Hall. Ilia's win against Hall was especially impressive, as he outsmarted the BJJ wizard by skillfully dodging his trap.
So when Aleksandre stepped onto the regional scene, people didn't just notice, they felt something different. He wasn't scraping by, he wasn't edging out close fights, he was dismantling opponents with a cold, calculated composure.
Topuria even threw in a spinning kick just for the sake of entertainment. But his most dangerous weapon?
Far beyond his years. No bravado, no noise, just performance so precise and mature that the entire room understood the same thing the moment he fought. Aleksandre Topuria wasn't another prospect, he wasn't a rival, the fighter with no weak side. There are fighters who excel in one area. The clean strikers, the slick grapplers, the pressure machines, the patient counterpunchers. Specialists. Dangerous, but predictable. Then, there are fighters like Aleksandre Topuria. Fighters who feel complete. Fighters who don't enter the cage with a single identity, but with a toolbox deep enough to solve whatever problem stands across from them.
Got the back. In freestyle wrestling, we call 5 to hate. If you get thrown like that over your head, they call 5 points.
Aleksandre isn't defined by one style because he doesn't need to be. He can strike with precision, He can wrestle with intent, he can pressure without fear, and he can counter with a maturity that feels years beyond his experience. He doesn't just fight what's in front of him, he dismantles it, piece by piece, layer by layer.
And that's the difference.
What makes him so dangerous is that he adapts faster than opponents can adjust. Try to bully him forward and he'll meet you with power. Try to outpace him on the feet and he'll time you. Try to take him down and you'll discover how quickly he can turn defense into offense. He's not reaching, he's calculating.
Avoid that right hand of Topuria. Big throw, and I was waiting for this kind of exchange to happen.
Aleksandre Topuria brings more than skills into the cage. He brings answers. He brings solutions. He brings a fight IQ and completeness rare in this kind of sport, the kind that makes every matchup feel like a test he's already studied for.
Just a minute and 30 seconds into the fight, Aleksandre connected his right hand twice, dropping Ibanez to the canvas.
Where hype ends and real fighters begin. But here's the part of Aleksandre Topuria's story most people don't talk about. Getting into the UFC isn't the hard part. Anyone can have a good run on the regional scene, stack a few finishes, build a little hype, and earn that call. The real test begins after. Staying undefeated, staying sharp, staying dangerous when every opponent is studying you, planning for you, and trying to make their name off your downfall. That's the true battle.
De aviso que nos haya dado la oportunidad de que hiciéramos nuestro trabajo hasta el final.
Because the moment Aleksandre stepped into the UFC, everything changed. This wasn't a cage full of inexperienced fighters anymore. This wasn't the scene where pressure made people crumble.
Siempre dije que quería, cuando debute, y Ilia, tú y yo vamos a tener.
This was the big league. The place where hype dies fast, where every athlete punches for their future, and where one mistake can erase years of work. Here, the margin for error is microscopic. Here, your strengths are tested and your weaknesses are exposed.
Bueno, no solamente para él, el 80% es mi hermano, pero también he oído muchas.
And Aleksandre felt that weight immediately. He didn't walk into easy matchups or forgiving styles. He walked into a division filled with killers, veterans and specialists who'd spent their whole lives mastering one thing, but instead of being swallowed by the moment, he rose to meet it. Championship potential. Aleksandre Topuria isn't just surviving in the UFC, he's thriving against elite competition. His skill set positions him perfectly against the division's top contenders. Fast, adaptable, and precise. He can switch between pressure striking, calculated counters, and high-level grappling with a fluency few can match.
Which is good to see. He knows he wants to be able to come over here and be a star.
I mean, he's just unloading on Damon Jackson right now.
The division itself plays into his hands. Opponents rely on specialization. A striker, a grappler, a brawler, but Topuria answers every style. Where others struggle against unconventional approaches, he turns adaptation into dominance, forcing top-ranked fighters into uncomfortable positions, testing their weakness before they even know he's done.
So odd. Like, look at this. Like, he just falls down. Oh, there it is. Nice hammer. Oh, big hammer fist by Topuria. There it is.
And the results? Well, the results speak for themselves. In the UFC, he's already faced and dismantled fighters who were considered seasoned threats. Each victory wasn't just a win, it was a statement.
Action on the ground. I think in myself, I said, wow, this guy, I think he's knocked it out. And I keep.
Topuria belongs among the best, and anyone underestimating him is stepping into a storm. The fight world can speculate all at once, but the truth is clear. With his tools, mindset, and fight IQ, Aleksandre Topuria isn't just a prospect, he's a serious contender.
Aleksandre Topuria!
The path to a championship feels closer every time he steps into the octagon. So, now the question isn't whether Aleksandre Topuria has the talent, or the mindset, or the composure to rise in this division. He's shown all of that already. The real question is the one the entire fight world keeps circling back to. Is it hard to believe, or is it obvious? Is Aleksandre Topuria the next UFC champion? Because every fight, every round, every calculated exchange whispers the same truth. It's getting closer, closer to contention, closer to the belt, closer closer to the moment where quiet rise becomes undeniable reality. But that's where you come in. Drop your take in the comments. Is Aleksandre Topuria the future of this division, or is the hype getting ahead of itself?